lesson 23 of the Violin Method for Beginners by Poppy Violin Studio. I'm Jamie, and in this lesson I'm going to show you how to use your fourth finger on your A string and your E string to create two new notes. The pinky finger is referred to as the fourth finger when you use it on the violin. If you've been following along with the previous lessons, you will already know the first, second, and third fingers on your A string and E string. And today we're going to be adding that pinky fourth finger to those existing notes. So if you look at the notes on the screen, we have our A, B, C sharp, D, and now we're adding the fourth finger to create E. And you'll notice that this is the same E that you play on your open E string. So now you actually have two ways that you can play that E. You can either play the open E string or fourth finger on A. A, B, C sharp, D, E. The same as your open E. Then if we start on the open E string, we go E, F sharp, G sharp, A, and then finally fourth finger the new note, which is called B. E, F sharp, G sharp, A, fourth finger B. Because the fourth finger is the pinky finger, which is the weakest finger, I have a couple recommendations for you on these following exercises that we're about to do. The first one is that you should leave all of your other fingers down when you are climbing up to that fourth finger. First, second, three. So notice I have all four fingers down. And that is so that you can train your muscles in your hand to get used to that hand frame. You want to avoid lifting your fingers up after playing like this. So make it easier for yourself. You don't want to work too hard by lifting those fingers up, and you also will have better intonation if you are practicing leaving the fingers down. So we'll get to practice that in the next few exercises that we do. The other thing about the fourth finger is that it can be challenging to find a comfortable placement for it. And often this is because the other fingers might be doing something that makes it difficult for the fourth finger to go down. So if you're finding that it's uncomfortable to play your fourth finger, you may want to reevaluate what your other fingers are doing. And that includes your thumb. You're going to be leaving those fingers down. And to find a comfortable position for the fourth finger, you want to pay attention to where your fingers are touching on the side of the neck. So I like to think of it as being at the bottom of this first finger here. I call that the base joint, this big joint here. And so if you're playing on your A string, for instance, contacting just a little above that base joint, that should put you in a good place for the fourth finger. What you don't want is to be dropping the violin into this web space here. We talked about that before. So you don't want to be doing that because that's going to make it really hard to get all four fingers on the string. And so you can see how high up my bass joints are compared to the fingerboard here. So you want to drop down, have a little space here in your web space. Hopefully you can see that. And that should help you reach to that fourth finger. Okay, so now I'd like to do a couple exercises so you can practice your fourth finger on A string and E string. And we're going to be using rhythms that we learned in the previous lesson. That includes our Marigold, Marigold, Triplet rhythm, and then our rhythms that use dotted quarter notes and eighth notes, which are the Lily and Iris rhythms. For number one, I will play one time, and then I'll ask you to join me on the second time. Marigold, Marigold on E string. Louder song with fourth finger. Marigold, Marigold, here I go. First finger, second finger, third finger, fourth finger, third finger, second finger, first finger, open E. The end. All right, so let's have you join me this time. Go into playing position. One thing I forgot to mention about fourth finger is that it's very important to keep your wrist in a straight line. Don't let the wrist do the pancake like this, and don't do the gooseneck. Number one. Marigold, marigold, E string, here we go. First finger, second finger, third finger, fourth finger, third finger, second finger, first finger, open E, rest the end. Great job. Now I'll do the same thing with A string. So I recommend you listen the first time so you get to know what these notes sound like, and then I'll invite you to join me on the second time through. A string, marigold, marigold, here I go. B, first finger, C sharp, second finger, D, third finger, fourth finger, E, third finger, D, second finger, C sharp, first finger, B, open A, rest the end. Join me this time. Marigold, marigold, A string, ready, go. First finger, B, second finger, C sharp, third finger, D, fourth finger, E, third finger, D, second finger, C sharp, first finger, B, open A, rest the end. Nice job. Now for number 3, we're going to use the iris rhythm that we did in the previous lesson. Remember, this is a dotted quarter note followed by a single eighth note. Why don't you join me this time, and then you can pause the video and go back and do it again if you'd like. E string, iris, ready, go. First finger, F sharp, second finger, G sharp, third finger, A, fourth finger, B, third finger, A, second finger, G sharp, first finger, F sharp, open E, rest the end. Wonderful. Let's do A string now. Number 4, iris, ready, go. First finger, B, second finger, C sharp, third finger, D, fourth finger, E, third finger, D, second finger, C sharp, first finger, B, open A, rest the end. Nice job. Now let's do Lily on E string first and then A string. Remember that this rhythm starts up bow, so you'll want to be starting above the middle of your bow. Number 5, Lily, E string, ready, go. First finger, F sharp, second finger, G sharp, third finger, A, fourth finger, B, third finger, A, second finger, G sharp, first finger, F sharp, open E, rest the end. Number 6, Lily, A string, ready, go. First finger, B, second finger, C sharp, third finger, D, fourth finger, E, third finger, D, second finger, C sharp, first finger, B, open A, rest the end. So that's how you play fourth finger on your A string and your E string. And we're going to be using the fourth finger in the songs at the end of this section in the Violin Method for Beginners. So if you don't have that book yet, there's a link in the description below where you can purchase your own copy so that you have access to lots of songs that you can play with second, third, and fourth finger on A string and E string that use all the rhythms that we've done in these lessons so far. If you haven't seen the previous lessons, there's also a link for those in the description below. If you enjoyed this lesson, I would love it if you could like this video and subscribe to my channel. And I'll see you in lesson 24, where we're going to be going over some dynamics and articulations.